organizing and presenting structures. So here we have a structure. Blah 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 has been blah blah blahing for blah blah blah. Let's think about how we would organize and present this structure to our class. The teacher writes the situation on the board first. A woman starts waiting for a bus at 4 p.m. and at 5 p.m. the bus comes. So let's think about it. What are the steps you as a teacher can take to present this information clearly to your students? Think about how you would teach it to your own class. Here are the steps that I would take to present this particular structure. You can vary these or mix and match as you see fit. First, I would draw a picture on the board and give some examples. The girl is waiting for a bus. She is standing at the bus station. Make sure they understand what the situation is and what is happening. Next, I would write the sentence clearly on the board and create a table around it. For more advanced classes, I might even get them to give me some suggestions of different verbs that we could use. Then I would drill and repeat with the class. Here you can vary the types. You can use it in groups. You can use it in individuals. You can use it cold calling. You can do it with pairs, wherever you choose to make it interesting. Then, using the table, you can take a minute to break down the sentence even further. You can say, well, a woman starts waiting for the bus. Who else can wait for a bus? A man, a policeman, a doctor, a fireman, and so on. And you say, well, they're waiting for a bus. What else can they wait for? They can wait for a taxi. They can wait for a car, and so on and so on. If you want, you can even do a little extra drill on time. Maybe time is the important thing you want to focus on here. 5 p.m., 5:30, 5:45, 10 past 5, and so on. You have to decide what's important for your class. Here, you can start giving other examples. The woman starts waiting for a bus at 2 p.m. and at 4 p.m. the bus comes. She has been waiting for 2 hours. At this point, I would get the students to copy and write down the table in their books. If they haven't got books, I would give them a piece of paper and they can copy it down on that. This is something they might resist. They might feel it's a little boring, but push them to do it because it is beneficial. It helps retain the information and it helps reinforce the information. And then finally, we'll get students to try and think of their own examples and we'll have creative time to discuss. We can have student-student interaction, role play, and games and activities to end. And don't forget, at any point during these steps, you can add a little game or activity to make it more fun and engaging. You can have a drawing competition to see who can draw the best picture, or you can have a race to see who can write the information. When it comes to creating their own sentences, you can just have off-the-cuff games to help practice those sentences. Whatever you decide is absolutely fine. Rules to teach structures. This is not an exact science. Every class is different, every student is different, every teacher is different. So you need to narrow it down to the things that make sense for your own lessons. Here are some basic rules that I follow when teaching structures to my classes. Number 1. Be aware of the common mistakes. Like we talked about earlier, there's always going to be common mistakes that are typical to all ESL students. You as a teacher need to identify them, you need to understand the local dialects, and you need to understand what parts your students are struggling with. Number 2, start simple and build it up. You don't need to give them the full sentence structure to begin with. If you think it's quite difficult, then break it down and start from the beginning. Start from the basics. You can have Mary eats, a subject and verb. I sleep. And then you can add an object. I sleep on the bed. Tom reads a book. I play basketball. And so on. And then you can add time later on. And you can keep going from there until you've got what you need. Number 3, give it time and be persistent. If there's one thing I've learned over my time as an ESL teacher is, don't give up over the first hurdle. Students may not get it the first time that you present it, but then you try again, and then you vary it and try again. They will get it. Do not give up. Keep on pushing and keep on trying. Number 4. Incorporate some fun. Let's be honest. Learning languages is boring. It's boring for the students, it's boring for you, especially when it's teaching structures. Teaching structures and meaning is a very dry thing to be doing, so you need to add some fun and incorporate some interesting and engaging activities into your lessons, or the students will lose focus. Number 5. Correct mistakes. Now, you do not need to correct every single mistake that they make, but certainly you need to take the opportunity to be on top of pronunciation errors and obvious grammar mistakes. Number 6. Expand on the structures. This is something I try to do every time we're teaching sentence structures. It gives you such great opportunities to expand and go into details in verbs and time and nouns and other things that you can make activities and games and brain breaks with. You can use the materials within the structures for things like tables, sentence forms, word banks, mind maps, and so on and so on. These things will help retention and help engagement.